Hey, welcome to Wolf's Watch. I'm Wolf, and welcome to Faraday Friday. Now, what does that mean? Faraday, a Faraday cage, you may be familiar with, you may not. A Faraday cage is an isolated room that, or an isolated container that blocks out all electromagnetic energy. In other words, it's like the ultimate isolation. So, what I want you to do for this Wolf's Watch is step into your Faraday cage, step out of what you're doing, step into the Faraday cage with me because we're going to have a little conversation that we don't want to let anybody else in on. This is going to be private between me and you, sort of, right? This is live broadcast. It's 21st century television. It's live and interactive. I want to interact with you, and I have a question for you that you'll probably need some privacy and some meditation to truly consider. As a business owner, as an entrepreneur, here's the question: Are you running a business or are you bragging? What that means is, are you running a business? Are you growing the company? Or are you enjoying the bragging rights of being the leader, being the person that everybody looks up to, that they're dependent on, that customers come to, being the person that's asked to speak, to share about your great knowledge and the market impact that you've had? Or are you running a company? Are you delivering value to customers? Is that your overriding concern? Or is it being the CEO, the president, the owner of the company? What are you really doing? Are you taking care of your employees so that they can take care of your customers? Here's a follow-up question to that. Now, you may be saying, I'm running a company. Hey, that's great. If you're saying, yeah, I am bragging a bit, good for you. That's some great insight. That's some self-awareness that will serve you well. For those of you that are saying, if you're saying I'm running a company, here's a question I've got for you. If it was in the best interest for the growth of your company, for your company to be able to make a double, triple in size, if it was in the best interest of your company's long-term survival and growth, would you step down as the president, the CEO, step away as the owner from day-to-day operations and turn it over to somebody that could take it places you never could? Would you be willing to do that? Would you step down tomorrow and hand the company's management over to someone else that was more capable than you? If not, if you're saying, no way, it's my company, I ask again, are you running a company or are you bragging? There's I've seen stories of CEOs of good sized companies that stepped away. They're asked by their board to step down and they did it. Left the company alone, or usually as the owner, you're going to be on the board anyway. So you're not totally leaving the company, but allowing someone else to run it and not interfere with that, to perhaps take a better role where you can focus on what you are best at doing. Perhaps that's marketing or sales or product development or research or being the spokesperson for the company. Would you do it though? I've seen companies where the board asked the CEO to step down. Lead sales, had front row seat. This is a real growing company, and the owner stepped down. One of the co-founders allowed another one of the co-founders to be appointed CEO and then took over sales and proceeded to do everything possible to undermine the new CEO in order to get that position back, because it's in the best interest of the company. Nobody can run it as good as I can. I just wanted to show them this is what he shared with me on the company, because I just wanted them to see that he can't cut it as CEO so I can get the position back. They'll put me back in. They'll find out very quickly. Is that you? Or are you the person that would step back, watch the new leader of your company, and learn, what is that person doing that I wasn't? What perspective does that person have that I don't? So I'm going to keep this short. Here's a final third question for you. Who is your coach or board of advisors? If you don't want your company to fail, if you don't want to end up in a position where you are forced to step back because the company is crumbling under your leadership, not performing under your leadership, clearly needs new leadership, then I ask again, who is your coach? Do you have a business coach? Many major corporations require that the CEO have a business coach. Why? They're the CEO. They brought him in to run the company. They're clearly capable. Well, it's the perspective that that person provides. I interviewed Jerry Eisenhower in the previous episode of Wolf's Watch. If you haven't seen an interview, stop right now, go back and view that. I'll wait. Here's the thing. Jerry brings experience to the business owners that he coaches because he's been there. He brings that outside perspective to go, look, let's take a look. It's the detachment. I don't know about you. I have trouble, and I'll just admit it. I have trouble staying detached from stuff that I'm extremely involved in, from my business, from things I do. And I find that very hard without outside guidance, without getting that perspective that someone else can get that I can't. Or a board of advisors where you bring a whole team that can look at what you're doing, what's going on in the industry, how you go about that. Who's your board of advisors? And we interviewed, she's going to kill me. Such a good friend. I can picture her. We had an interview with someone that, with a colleague that released a book on advisory boards. Nancy Mayer. I'm so sorry, Nancy. It's having a blank there for a moment. Not going to make excuses. Nancy Mayer, wrote a book on advisory boards. She's been very involved in advisory boards with companies, and it can 3x your growth or more compared to those that don't have that. So have that outside advice, have that coach, that advisor. It's LeBron James, arguably the best in the NBA, as a coach. Is the coach better at what LeBron James does in basketball? Nope. The coach can still see things that he can't because of that outside perspective, a little detachment, not caught up in the moment, not in the emotion of it. That's what you need. The top performers, the companies, the leaders of companies, the entrepreneurs that are knocking it out of the park, they have coaches and advisory boards. What about you? Now, have a fabulous weekend. This is Faraday Friday. I'm going to step back out of the Faraday cage. Hey, quick fun fact. On this day, what was it? I'm looking for that. Where was it? I had this queued up a minute ago. On this day in 1909, I believe it was. Let me double check that. On this day in 1909, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway opened in what was then Speedway, Indiana. Now it's part of Metropolitan Indianapolis. The infamous 500, the Brickyard, 1909. Over 120, over 100 so it was 110 years in 2019, so it'd be 112 years. Pretty good run, huh? 113 years. Thank you for that. Will your company be around 113 years? Do you want it to be? Why are you doing what you do? And who are you looking to for guidance that can help you see? Right? We all have that blind spot where you can sense it, you can feel it, but you just can't quite bring it into focus. Better have that coach. Better have that advisory board. It's best practice. It's what those who are thriving in today's chaotic environment are doing. And you know what? If you're not thriving, you are missing it. The more chaos there is, the more opportunity there is. So seek out that coach. Create that advisory board. And deliver more value to your customers. Your customers will benefit. Your employees will benefit. Your family will benefit. This is Wolf's Watch. I'm Wolf. Thanks for being part of the conversation. I will see you on the trail.